Konbanwa. Ooh, where's my mouse? I've lost my mouse. Konbanwa. Hoi hoi hoi. Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? Good evening. Early gang, early gang. Back on the bonsai block. I have to say, right off the bat, I am not feeling well again. Since he started school, my boy, he keeps getting like illnesses from all the other kids. It's the start of the term as well, so it's just like spreading around. And I don't get it straight away. I think I've missed it, and then he starts to feel better, and suddenly I start going down. It's been a long weekend. G'day Taryn and everyone. That's alright if you need to leave, that's all good. Thanks for popping in. Your friends with young kids are always getting infected too, yeah. I'll build up my immune system. I used to work in a, what do you call it? Like a kindergarten, but it started from a younger age. And I feel like I never got sick. There was kids around me all day, every day, just like so many different classes. My first year as well, I was covering, so I was moving between classes and between schools. So I should have just been getting it left, right and centre, but I really wasn't. And now I'm just in contact with one kid pretty much, and I'm getting sick all the time. Yeah, it cycles around the house. He's building up his immune system, yeah. Yeah, and so am I. We're doing it all together. It's a big family affair. Does that look a bit faded to you guys? Interesting. Anyway, let's get started. I have an embarrassment of riches here to show you. We had a question about prints, so I took out 3 prints, which were some of the first prints I collected personally, and then a bunch of other supplementary stuff. One thing I didn't have time to show you last stream, and a couple other things that have happened since then. I guess that's the thing. You're saying you used to work at school and you were constantly washing your hands. Yeah, I worked in there at the height of COVID as well, so I guess that had a big thing to do with it. We were all really washing our hands, and I guess it was regimented, and I don't do that now. Let's switch over to the block and get started. We are working on the bonsai still. We're getting through it. It's kind of crazy to me to see just how much we've done on this stream. And I didn't actually have much time to carve this prior. I basically had like a few days where I like solidly worked on the carving. And I finished the whole trunk in that time. And then on these streams, we've just been chipping away at these branches, and it's taking so long. I guess that's the nature of streams. I do tend to go on tangents and waffle on about things. That's why we have the redeems, so you can tell me to zip it. Where are we going to start? Start with this little bit here. On camera. Let me do a little bit of work to get into the rhythm, and then I'll tell you about what's going on. I hope you all had a very nice weekend. It's been raining here today, pretty heavy. We already started this line, I see. Refining the art of chatting and carving. I don't know if we're at the refining part of it yet. We're still at the learning stage, I think. I'm not being too strict on myself. We'll build a rhythm and we'll find something that works, you know. You weren't in the first early gang, but welcome anyway. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for showing up. So my work today, it's Tuesday evening for me here. Most of you, it's morning, I guess. And I'm pulling the graveyard shift for you guys, even when I'm sick. Today I was working on video and I got most of it done. I think I'm horribly inefficient at making videos, you know. It takes a lot out of me. I guess part of it is that these projects I choose to make videos of, I choose the interesting projects, obviously. But just like the nature of the work, it takes a long time to make these larger projects. And I don't have a story fully marked out before I begin. And so I'm trying to, like, there's obviously, I have a sort of shot list, shots that I know I need to get. And there's like bits that are obvious that need to be in the film. And then there's other things that happen along the way, like as I'm learning what I'm doing, how I'm back engineering and stuff. So it's like, it's kind of a lengthy process making these films, and then editing everything down takes a long time. The thing I'm really horrible at, like really inefficient at doing, is the voiceovers. And this weekend we went to Kamakura, which is the setting of, for the image, the print is called Kamakura. We went to Kamakura to see the Daibutsu. Greetings from Germany. You got small kids getting sick all the time as well. Nice. Good luck with that. Editing is a skill, and it's just like making clips. I can assume time consuming. Yeah, it's a lot. Where was I? What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we were filming in Kamakura. I was filming in Kamakura, and it's the first time I've done like the voiceover stuff in a place that wasn't, you know, my workroom. And I'm horribly inefficient at doing the voiceovers, like just in my room. It always takes me so many tries. I used to do acting when I was a kid, so I should be better at like memorizing the script and stuff, but I think it's something about there just being so many different things going on. Like I'm checking the camera and doing all this. Anyway, I'm making excuses. I keep messing up the script. I want to do it in a single take. And I write out a script. And I guess the solution is just to get like a cheap teleprompter one. I was looking online and I found like this one's for Ichimae, which is not too bad. And they can work with your laptop or an iPad or a phone, and you just like rest it on. And I think I could do it in a single pass if I had that. So maybe we'll invest in one of those in the future, especially if we're going to do any outside stuff, because my Kamakura is always packed. It's always jam-packed there, and it's a new experience, like doing an intro presentation bit on location, surrounded by like literally hundreds and hundreds of people going past while I was trying to do it, and it wasn't working very well. So the first scene in my new video, I got the speech done once, clearly, and there was no one walking past at that point, no one talking really loudly just as I'm about to make my point. So I got it, but I'm horribly out of focus in it. The Daibutsu is in fantastic, clear resolution, but I'm out of focus. We'll just live with it. Florida Gadsby. I'm not familiar with Florida Gadsby. A Potter in the UK and talking about the same issues as voiceovers. Yeah, well, that's what I end up doing in lots of sections. I like chop up or I put it underneath. Like if it's just the voiceover, that's fine, and I get away with that. That's how I often do it, and I can do that pretty quick. Like just say a sentence, say it once, twice, till I feel like it's not stale and dead and like I'm reading. But it's linking all those sections together when my face is on the camera. And doing it in one take. That's the thing that's tricky. And I have to admit, in the last section when I'm doing the outro, occasionally I like to do sort of like a bit of a oh Jesus, I slipped. Did you all see that? That's going to need fixing, that one. Focus. I might have taken a nip out of that line there. Maybe it'll be okay. I'll check it during testing. Remember that bit. We'll have a look at that. Record the voice track separate to your... Yeah, I do record my voice separately. But it just doesn't look very good if you've got like hard cuts in the middle of like a monologue. Anyway, I have hard cuts in the middle of a monologue at the end of the video. Forgive me, I just had to get it done. I think it looks okay. So that's the other thing I did that you're saying, businessy tea here. I in areas that I did need to cut, if I have some supplementary material, of course, I put it over the area that's cut, and you won't be any the wiser, hopefully. Anyway, it looks like it's shaping up to be quite an interesting video. I'm not sure on the actual release date yet. I could get it out this weekend, perhaps. And that's my intention. I want to get it out for my patrons before. But I kind of want to... There's still some questions about when it's going to go public, the shop link. I think Dave did the final check of the prints today. But I'd like to align the video and the shop link being open. So I don't have a definite date for when the video will go live. It's about half an hour. So if you're interested, coming soon. I have a copy of the print because I was taking some shots, so I can show you the actual print this time. I showed you a test print before, but I can show you the actual print now. So we've got lots of actual prints to look at. We've got a big show and tell. I hadn't really intended on doing like show and tell streams, but I started collecting the things. We got a question in the Discord, which is about showing prints, and I have a couple of actual things that I could show you. While we're talking about Kamakura, should we just show that now then? Should we just do it now? Yeah, let's go for it. Put it on the face. I can hold it up here. So here's the first look. Well, it's not the first look, you've seen it a couple times now. Not good at this mirrored cameraing. But here's the finished print. In the bottom you can see... No, wrong side. Ayumi Ohashi and Casey. That's me and Ayumi-san. And then at the bottom here, it's not really... There we go, it's got it. Kamakura, Charles Bartlett. So this is the finished print. Let me just double check, this isn't the Yarit. No, I got given two prints. One of them is an NG that I took with me to Kamakura. The colours are similar, but I think there's a little bit poking out the side of the hair, doesn't it? That'll probably be my carver's copy. Eagerly awaiting its availability at Mokankan. Thank you. I don't know how much it's going to cost yet. I think that's still being decided. It'll depend on how much the printer gets paid per sheet. And I'm guessing she'll get like a decent amount for that per sheet. So a new print and a new video coming up very soon. And then what's next on the YouTube after that, I'm not sure. I've got a couple of ideas. No, maybe I'll save it. Block. Enjoying my YouTube and my Twitch. Thanks for all the effort. Thank you for showing up. Have a nice rest. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Don't stay up on my behalf. Dave said he needs to calculate it too, did he? Oyasumi Yukes. Just double checking that I've carved everything in that section. Did I carve that top line? I don't think I did, you know. No, I didn't. I have to say I'm also a little bit concerned about like the quality of the carving. The stuff I do on stream versus the stuff I do when I'm just like completely focused. It's really not very good, I think, to be switching back and forth like this. You and Ayumi sound still excited about the print after going through the work. More knowledge, more speed, improved the process. For me, yeah, I can't speak for her, obviously, but for me, I'm very happy it's done. My work on that finished actually a very long time ago, so I've just been waiting for updates on that for a long time. But yeah, this one, well, it was much easier than the previous one. So it was much quicker. But obviously, yeah, it's a big part of the stuff I'm talking about in the video, that these types of jobs they're the best kind of practice for developing future projects such as this. Like this came about shortly after the Nico print. I learnt so much making that Nico print. and I also did a bit of calculation, like material costs, and if I was to make my own designs, and could I finance it, how would it go? A lot of the techniques, especially in like the how to separate the colours and using beta blocks and stuff like that, a lot of them have been put into the workings out, the technical stuff in this print. It'd be nice if I could just work on this, full time for 2 weeks. I think I could finish the whole thing. These streams are extremely helpful for people studying carving, people like me who are trying to learn by oneself, and off YouTube videos. So great. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you. Thank you. I'll stop clapping like a seal. Just bow instead. I'm really glad that people are finding them useful. Like, it's kind of a niche community, and the ways I carve, it's not really accessible. There's lots of material out there if you just want to get making prints, but a lot of the information can be sort of all over the place, and a lot of it is from people like self-studying and then sharing what they've learned. The traditional stuff is a little bit more opaque, difficult to get your handle on, especially if you don't speak Japanese, don't read Japanese, more importantly. These videos are a lot of work though, I think I'm just really horribly inefficient. It drains me as well, Maybe, I think often that, like, maybe I should be doing simpler, like, single scene type stuff, where I just pick a topic and talk about something. And if I like intersperse the two different types of projects, I could get like, it would be less daunting to start a new video project if it was just like I could do it in a week or in a couple of days. Sit down, do one filming, and then it'd be done. Unfortunately, the nature of what I do takes a long time, and then that requires editing, So I've reached a line here, and I've cut one side of it just because I wanted to clear out this section, because I wanted to get this all finished. But I'm not going to go into the border here, because I'd like to do that in one pass so I can get good taste in the line. So I've just left that one side, and I won't carve the other side, because I don't want to start on a line, come a little bit down, and then just leave it there and then join them up later. I'd like to do it in one pass and have a nice clear flow. I think I want to finish these branches and stuff first before I tackle the border. I guess that's nearly all the little branches here. Excuse me, I need to cough. Let me just mute the mic. That did mute correctly, right? There's an ad inbound now. I'll just do some quiet carving while you guys are away. For me, the ads just show up on the top right corner. Interesting. Okay. What's this here? Business City. Have you tried making YouTube video shorts yet? They might get you more in the swing and repetition of editing. Like, I don't really have a problem getting into the swing of it. Like, once I sit down, like, it's the same with carving. I just sit there and I can focus and I can do it. And I have no problem with, I don't think I'm inefficient at, like, cutting and moving things across and, like, splicing videos together. I think I'm okay at that. I don't know where the inefficiency comes in. I think it's just, it might just be the scopes of the things I'm doing, and probably most of the inefficiency comes in the actual filming, because a lot of times I put the cameras on and I let them run, and I'll have like long 15-minute segments and I got to choose little bits, and then it's like decisions. So it's not the actual physical cutting, pasting, moving things around. That I'm okay at that. I've got all the short keys down, and I've been using DaVinci Resolve for a while now, so I'm like pretty familiar with that. It's more so just the general, just making them consistent is one. I don't really have the time to be making videos, and so I've got to squeeze them in late nights or whenever I can, you know, on my lunch break or something. So I have made shorts, and I've got one video of the flooded city. I edited a whole video, but I didn't want to. You spoke too soon, so does that mean ads are on? Now the stream moved to the top right corner. I'm sorry, advert purgatory. So I have a series of shorts. I made a video of the second, no, it was the third print in the Adolescento series. I made a full video for that, and I put it up for my patrons. But I didn't want to do all the malarkey of like writing a script, reading a script, doing all the extra bits I put inside my videos. So I just left it like, so I'm quite comfortable at like editing that. That didn't take me very long actually at all. That was pretty quick. And I think I filmed that one pretty good because I didn't have so much wasted footage. Not as much as I usually do anyway. That first video for Nico, I had like a terabyte worth of footage. And my camera's not even that good, you know. I think it was like only, it wasn't 4K, it was like 1080p. It was about a terabyte of footage. Which explains why that whole series is like nearly 3 hours long. Good morning, Fly. My god, I keep losing my train of thought. So I did do a video for my patrons, and I'm planning on cutting that up after the Kamakura video is done. I'll cut that up into segments, and I'll do like a shorts, like an extended shorts. They'll be in parts, I guess. I don't really want to put that video out as is without doing all the extra things. So I'll turn it into shorts. I will have to make another video for the Atelier Center series at some point. I guess I'll do the last one for sure. But it might be... No, I guess it'll probably be the last one, depending on the images. There's a few of the images I know which ones I'm being assigned, and then the rest I'm not sure. My next one I'm completely in the dark. I don't know which one I'll be doing next. I have seen the initial sketches, but I don't know exactly how they line up. I'm actually in the same position as you guys on the next print coming up. I'm not sure when I'll get getting that design though. Speaking of Atelier Cento, so on the Space Amma print, that was the first one we started putting seals on. And at the point I was carving that, it was like last minute. I'd already carved most of the blocks. And Dave came to me, we need to put seals on. And then we also need to put seals going backwards, you know. And so I had a red block and I added it in. I think if you watch Dave's stream, you would have seen him printing that block. So that one in the corner I just added quickly. I hadn't cleared around it. I'd been given a warning that something like this might be coming. So I'd left the bottom of the block uncleared. And I pasted that down and I just made it on the same red block. It's printed a different colour, but it's on the same block. But we needed a more permanent solution. And I don't know if any of you saw my Instagram post, but yesterday I carved a little inkan, a little hanko seal for the Atelier Center prints. And then with that, the previous month's prints, the ones that went out in January, February, March, those can all have a seal put on them without having to carve them new blocks or like putting inlays into all the blocks. We can just have a designated seal that we can use from now on to put on top of all the prints. So that'll be used for the first time on this month's print. Thank you for the link. You're on it. I also have a picture here, I think. I don't have a picture of the inkan. I do have a picture of the hasamita. So typically, this is not the same type of carving work. It's a different craftsperson who will do seals like this, because the tools are very different. But a carver has this thing in their arsenal, not primarily for seals, but for smaller blocks. If you're doing little single senshafida prints, sometimes they can be pretty tricky. If you have to carve like on the edge of a block like this is okay. But the other way around, from this side, you've got nowhere to rest your finger, and it's really kind of tricky to carve on the edge of a block like this. And so we use hasamita, this thing that the seal is in, just to hold it and give us a bit more room so we can place our arms and rest our hands on the block. So I used one of those. This is actually just the cheap one Dave made out of an old crib, I think. I do need to buy my own, but the one that Asuka Sensei had made and is selling, like way out of my price range at the moment. I think they made it in really nice cherry wood or something, but it's quite expensive. We're off camera again. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, that's what I used to make the inkan. I don't know what the correct word for an artist's seal would be. Inkan is a more official seal, I think. Hanko is like a general seal. You also wanted to buy one of those until you saw the price. Yeah, I think it's like 50,000 yen, 60,000 yen, something like that. I'll make my own. They are really nice though. It's the problem with custom orders. Things made in bulk are much cheaper. Yeah, that's the point. Do you actually need something with really nice wood? It is nice to have nice things though. I do like things to be in a set. Like, it feels good to hold nice tools, you know. So I do kind of want the nice wood. I know I don't need the nice wood, and I didn't need the nice wood. I think, like I just said, the hasamita I got from Dave, that he made for a video, just to display the concept of the thing. It was made from an old baby's crib. But a few of the wooden slats, so it's a bunch of wooden slats, and there's some diagonal ones to put pressure on the wood. You squeeze them in. But a bunch of them were from like the cage, the side railings. And they were rounded on the edges, which meant that they tended to pop out. So it's not a fully functional one. It was just get it done for a video type hasamita. So I had to make a couple of my own little bits to make it easier to use. And I also drilled a big hole in the bottom so I could stick the inkan through. I've carved this in a really janky order. I've made life difficult for myself because I wasn't focusing. That's a good point. You're young, you could get a long life of anything you buy now. That's very true. The other thing about tools is if you buy nice tools, they get better with age. they just become worn in, and you can see the marks of use on them. They just look so beautiful. I think that's important if you're using something all day, every day, for years and years. Like, one, that it lasts with you, but also that they're a pleasure to use because they're beautiful objects in their own right. There's a guy I follow on Instagram who like makes chisels. There's just all these sets of like really beautiful chisels, like Damascus, and I have no need of them, but I kind of want a set. You have to keep reloading because your connection's not great. I have test prints. Okay, no worries. See you later. This section I will cut now. It's funny, you can see how scattered my focus is because the areas I jump on the block, I'm carving up here and then I'll look away and then I'm carving down here. You don't carve like that normally. Anthony, that's really bad practice. I wonder what this block will look like now, honey. While we're distracted, I can show you this. This is a really quick test print. Don't judge my printing skills. But I finished the key block and I got the colour separations all worked out for... I can show you. Maybe I can just give you a sneak peek. So I've got all the blocks pasted down. That's all you're going to get to see. I don't really want to show you the new design. But this is the side I can show you. I carved this. It's all done. It's printed really poorly. I printed on dry paper. I just wanted to see that, you know, the flicks at the end here were looking okay. That I didn't need to shave anything down. And then these lines as well. Make sure that these are all symmetrical and even. That bit was completely blurry. I really do want to show it to you, you know. I do. Because I'm really excited for it. I really like it. And I have it here. I could just show you really quickly. But I don't think I should. Anyway, this is the simple single colour one. It says Icho Hanga. And this is obviously a Chokokto. I think it looks okay, looks nice. It's going to be a tricky one to print because this is boxwood, and boxwood doesn't absorb water as good as the cherry blocks. And so it's going to be a little bit tricky to get nice rich black down here. I might have to do it in two sections by printing, raising up, rubbing, the same way I did the darker areas on the Hokusai print I made for my patrons last Christmas, was it? Taryn's turning into a bit of a tease like David. I'm not trying to tease. I'm struggling because I'm really happy with how it's coming out. And I wanted to be working on it today, actually. I've got sort of a tight deadline for that. And I need to get it done. The prints need to be sent out at the end of the month. And it's, what, is it the first today? Second? No, it's the third. Jesus. So they've got to be carved and printed. But then hopefully it's not very... Right, it should be fine. They're only little diddy blocks. When I actually get a chance to sit down and carve them, it'll probably be done in a day. But then it's finding time to sit down and get them printed. I've got to do test printing and then I've got to do an edition. And I'd like to film the printing of these as well. I'll need to watch 2 streams in 15 minutes. The State of Unreal will start, and I want to watch CD projects. See what projects are cooking. I'm not sure what the second stream you're talking about is. You mean previous one of my streams? When you were younger, you also struggled with buying Kmart and Walmart. Didn't learn the patience of saving up. It's really, really, really important. I'm a really big advocate of that, and I think the world's actually going more that way. You know, I think the direction we're going is, or I'm hoping we're going, is that save up for like really nice stuff. I don't mind spending a lot of money on something that like I really want. Often I can be quite impulsive as well, but if I really want something, I don't just buy the first option. Even if I want it right now and need it for tomorrow, you know, I'll spend an excessive amount of time like choosing the right thing and then like wanting it, lusting over it for a little bit. When you finally get it, you're like so enamored with the object before it's even come. You love it even more. Tools especially. I've been waiting so many years now for these tools. And I know they're not going to live up to my expectation. That's the other side. If you wait too long, then nothing can live up to your expectation. But maybe because I'm not expecting much anymore, they'll end up being better. Are you calling me senile? I'm not quite that bad yet. I'm sick today. You can let me off. I guess it's, if you end up in this line of work, maybe it pre-selects for people who are sort of like that anyway, because the work takes so long to do. I hadn't actually connected that dot before, but maybe part of the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm okay with the delayed gratification. It's kind of a problem nowadays, you know. I used to be more impulsive as a kid. We didn't have so much money growing up, and so I got my first job like really, really young. And then I just used to buy stupid stuff because it was my money and I wanted to have fun. So if anyone had an idea, like I'd be like, right, let's do it. We bought spring stilts one summer. Does anyone know what spring stilts are? My friend said he was considering buying spring stilts, so I bought them as well. We used them all for about a week. I went for a few runs on them. No one knows what spring stilts are. They're stilts, but they're springs. You know, sort of the same concept as you see in the if someone's like an amputee in the Paralympics or something, they have that bow to act as like the spring in their leg, and it's basically stilts but with two big tension braces going down the back. Oh, you've tried those? Yeah. I think they were actually first invented, maybe I might be completely off on this, but they were first invented for like people doing ceilings and stuff like that. And they just put a bit more spring into them and like release them into markets. And there was like loads of videos when they first were like popping off spring stilts. Like people flipping over cars and stuff like that. Anyway, they were an absolute death trap, and I nearly broke my wrist several times, like going on runs with them. Running stilts, yeah. There were people like doing tricking in them, and there was people like doing runs. I don't know, I think they're still in a shed now. So I'm not claiming to be some sort of arbiter, some guy who's completely willing to wait and doesn't make impulse buys, because that's completely not true. I have spring stilts. Yeah, like the drywall installer things, yeah. Oh, how the mighty has fallen. They've gone from the so-called next extreme sport thing, which they were never going to be, obviously, to just something drywallers use. Different. Yeah, they look pretty similar. They're not as springy. Kangaroo jumping exercise bounce boom 3Y8ZWEF. You found them online. Let me see. Oh, that's them. Yeah, absolutely lethal. God, they're expensive as well. I don't want to see that. That's too much. I bought some good stuff as well. I did save up some good stuff when I was younger. Maybe I'll show you my knife at one point. That was one of the better ones. That one will get passed down to my son, that one. I won't show it today. We have a lot more stuff to get through. I think the straps on mine were a little bit different to those. They have like a ring thing on the top. It wasn't the exact pair, but it was very, very similar to those. The problem was the straps actually, they're too good. You get locked into them. There's no shaking them off. Like, you can jump off a skateboard midway in the air if you can see that the landing's going to be rough. You can sort of bail. There's no bailing with those. The bailing is your palms or your face. This is not the way I thought the stream was going to go today. Spring stilts. Face veil, yeah. What time are we on? Got about half an hour. We're at the hour. Okay, it's time for the show and tell segment, actually. Should we save that for the end? I have 3 prints to show you. Should we just run through and then we can do that at the end? Or should we start the show and tell after the ads? What do you think? We've got ads in about a minute. There were a lot of things like that designed to maim and kill children. Yeah. Pogo sticks, they're not that deadly. Pogo sticks are mild. If only I was into pogo sticks instead of spring stilts. They're on completely different levels. It's like 2 pogo sticks, but they're strapped to you and there's no exit. How about this? Instead of changing lenses back and then forth, I'll save the show and tell for a little bit and we'll just do a bit more so we're not having to switch so many lenses. Check the print of this. For me, when I was younger, the main thing I did was aggressive inline skating. Because I used to play inline hockey. It's like ice hockey on rollerblades. I played that for like the largest portion of my childhood, as well as a few other sports, but that was my favourite one. That was the one I loved most. And so there was a little bit of a community of like skaters there. And like Fly is saying, a lot of boys learnt some valuable lessons about the fragility of jewels. There's some things that I did on those rollerblades that like I'm feeling now. Magnuthan, hi, first chatter. First time, not first chatter. Welcome in, welcome in. We are, yeah, carving wood. I haven't had to do this yet, actually. Most of the people who've been here sort of already know me, I assume. Although there may be a bunch of people who aren't chatting. My name's Taryn Casey. I am a Japanese woodblock carver. We're working on a bonsai print. I have the picture here. We're working on this print. It's my own design. Typically, I am just like a carver, but in this project I am running all the different jobs, carving, designing, and maybe printing. Hopefully not, but we'll find out. Welcome in. Did you just find us on the browse function? I'm curious of like when people do start showing up like this, like how many of them come because they see wood, how many of them come because they like printmaking. Used to skateboard till you got a shattered collarbone. Still feel it, yeah, lots of people who did like skating and stuff. They're older now and they're feeling it in their bodies. Oh, to be young again. I'm not that old. The writing looked like kanji characters. Ah, okay, so you're interested in learning kanji. That's a very nice compliment, actually, because these are lines I drew myself, and the goal is to make them look like, well, they were brush strokes, so I used the brush to draw them. So it's the same tool, actually, for writing kanji and making these marks. I don't actually have any writing. I've got an artist's seal down here, which is written with a brush. Although this might change a little bit. Since I've updated my logo, I might... Let's rip some of this paper off so I can show you. This is the seal, my signature that I'm going to be using for prints. This will be its debut. Although we might change it, we'll see. This is the temporary one. I can always rub the paper off here and place another small bit of Gampi there. What time are we on? 20 minutes. Not quite ready for showing off the prints. If you stick around, there will be some kanji writing on the new prints, and you can see if you can read some of it. We'll be doing some translations of some of those kanjis in a little bit. I did make some memos just briefly before we got on, like 5 minutes. So if I don't know all the kanji, then comment. Sorry about the dead air. It comes to little bits, I kind of focus and I forget that I should be talking. We had a lot of steeps where I lived. Big things, building carts and rocket down slopes. Fortunately, you had lots of cactus. Skateboards, steep hills and cactuses. It's the name of your autobiography. It'd be cacti, wouldn't it? Not cactuses. I'm not sure what a yucca plant is. I'm assuming it's another prickly sort of bush. The name is vaguely familiar. I can't picture what it is in my head. It's not a prickly pear, is it? I'm just going to use a little bit of oil to help me see it clearer. There are buildings in Japan that don't have nails. Is that true? Yeah, there's lots of them. The older buildings, or like a lot of the old kyomachiya, which are like the townhouses in Kyoto, most of the temples, they're all built without nails. And the reason for that is because of earthquakes. Nails, they snap and they come loose with earthquakes, but the joints have a bit more give, and so they survive a lot longer. So the reason a lot of the buildings you'll see don't have nails and stuff is because, well, it's a survivor bias. The ones that are still standing are the ones that were made with like supreme carpentry, on top of just the tradition of building like that because it lasts. Yeah, they're really cool. Unfortunately, modern houses are not really built like that. It would be far too inefficient and expensive to build like that in the way the world works now. But it's really cool. Hello, Korengami. Welcome in. Everyone's here for the show and tell. I guess we should maybe start that. What we're looking at, 15 minutes. I don't think it'll take that long. Sure, I have some other stuff I can show and talk about though. Japan didn't also have enough access to iron to waste in the old days, so traditional joinery techniques were developed to build without nails. Is that the reason? Maybe just the confluence of things. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, it makes sense. Iron's expensive, especially the way, like, I guess you wouldn't use tamahagane way to make nails. You wouldn't waste it like that. think we'll leave it there, you know. Post it in the Discord. Also, you don't need to just post me. I can Google a picture of a yucca plant later. Thank you, though. I'm off camera. You guys need to shout at me. Use it. Spend your chips. Don't be hoarders. Probably a combination of a lot of things, yeah. I guess most things are. I just moved it off camera again. Invoke the echoing ginkgo. Oh, wait, I'm not even wearing my headphones today, so I wouldn't have heard it. I forgot my headphones. So you'd have been shouting into the void if you had used one of the shouts. Okay, 1:45. Let's take a look at some prints, shall we? I think we'll leave it for today. There's a little bit more here. We're going to finish off. There's like a cliff that we started a little bit on. A couple of these strands are part of this scroll design. I won't be carving the goat on stream. That's pretty detailed and I want to carve it really nice because it's a focal point. So, yeah, I guess one more stream we should be able to finish the inside, and maybe like 2 streams finish the whole block. And then I've got to make a decision on the seals at the bottom. I have my new logo, which I probably will add on here instead of this ginkgo leaf. I have a little ginkgo leaf here. Can I show you? Maybe I can explain that. So there's a little ginkgo leaf here. There's like my artist sign, and then there's a little ginkgo leaf. And the idea for that was we'll do a Kickstarter, and this will be on the first batch of prints, the first editions that are on the Kickstarter, and then afterwards this would go into normal regular production, and that would be cleared away. So that's how you'd be able to tell the first edition. But I've since made a new logo since creating this, so I'll have a think about how I want to implement these things. Maybe we'll still keep the little ginkgo idea, or maybe we'll add my seal on somewhere. I don't want there to be too much stuff in the corner, so I'll have a little think before I do any big clearing on this corner. Anyway, let's change the lenses. You read somewhere that most carving tools were made from the remains of old bridges. Interesting. Is this a woodblock used to make prints? Oh, this is a woodblock used to make prints, yeah. Thank you for answering the questions, yeah. If I show you just this section. This will make a little bit more sense now. I'm just going to cover up this side. So this is what we do. That print that you just saw there. This is the woodblock. First I do the knife work. Then I do the large clearing chisels. I take all this wood away. And then I put some ink on and I rub it from the back. And then we make a little print. This is a rough copy, but this is the basic principle of what we're doing here. So we make prints. And simple ones are just one colour like this. And then more complex ones are like this. Let me change the lens, switch the face, lens here, so we can zoom out and have a better see. Okay. So, maybe we'll just put it on plane for this, so we can see it clearly. Make sure everything's out the way. So there's less bulb in the way. Okay. So the question in the Discord came from Afka. I don't know how to read you guys' names. Like, she's so helpful, and the name's not showing up on the Discord. It's just A. Nandara. Anyway, we got a question. Oh, we've lost the stream. We're back. We got a question about what prints do I actually collect for myself that I haven't worked on. And I thought I'd take out some prints that I bought as some of my first prints and the reason why I bought them. These are 3 prints by Utamaro. And the reason I got Utamaro prints is because I was really interested in carving and I wanted to learn how to carve really well. One of the most difficult things in carving is the carving of the hairlines. And so I wanted some really good examples to see. Where should we start? So I wanted some really good examples of hair carving. And also, just Utamaro's line work is so beautiful that I wanted to collect these. This is one of my favourite series by him. And it's called, it's the physiognomy, the 10 types of physiognomy. Someone help me with the word. It's not a word we use anymore. Physiognomy, is that correct? It's some sexist term that we don't use anymore. Anyway, it's different types of women based on like personality things. Concept or whatever, the prints themselves are really beautiful. And there was actually, I believe there was 2 sets that Utamaro made. Easy for you to say. So I think there was like 2 sets that he made of these. There was one first early set, and I don't think we actually have all the prints that were in that initial 10. It's called the 10 types. It's like the 10 types of women. And I don't think all the 10 are known, actually. The study of the physiognomy of 10 types of women. Wow. I have some notes here. That's going to be clipped. Physiognomy? Oh, yeah. Physiognomy. I've said the word so much now that it literally has... The G is silent. Physiognomy. I was nailing it earlier. I was just speaking it casually, and you know when you start to think of a word and then it becomes like... It just sounds to me now. Anyway, I have 3 of these. 3 of the 10 sets. I got my 3 favourites. Unfortunately, they're not all of the same set. I believe, although I'm not 100% certain, it doesn't say anywhere on the packaging, but just by looking at the prints themselves, I believe it's Takamizawa. And when I saw this printing style, the imitation of weathering. This isn't actually just an old print. This is quite a recent Taisho era print, but it's printed as if it was from the Meiji era. And this is a hallmark of the Takamizawa style. Got a bit of matte burn here. But when I saw this type of printing, I jumped on them straight away. They were really quite cheap. I think they were about 3,000 yen each, which is like, for the actual print it's cheap, but for Yahoo auctions, like, you can get these for a little bit cheaper sometimes. I did get bid up on them as well, but I cancelled some of the orders. Anyway, it was a long time ago I bought these, I think. It's the ognimi part that gets you, yeah. We won't talk about that anymore. I think in Japanese it's called Fujin Sogaku Jitai Kana. Datomo. This first one, there's a little blurb that's actually written in English. I'll put that, you can screenshot it if you want. It doesn't give any information about the production. Okay, but it's called Woman Smoking a Pipe. Kemuri o fuku onna. And this is the one of the types of women. It's glued in here actually, I think. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. I'll leave it in for now. We got some nice karazuri here. And the reason I got these is because I wanted to look at the hair. And actually, the hair on these women is like, it's pretty average work, to be honest. It's nice, it's clean, it's sharp, but they're not as soft as what I'd really be looking for. I enjoy these prints a lot though. I think they're beautiful designs. And you can see actually on her face here, this face line is not carved very well. I think I could do better than this now. But when I first started, these are like incredible. I just wanted these prints. We don't have much time actually. I should have more time. Let's move on to the next one. So that's the woman smoking the pipe. And then this one is the omoshiroi so. Oh. I gotta put that in the right package. So that's the one of the type of women, the one who smokes a pipe. And then we have, this one is uwaki no so. Uwaki no so ne. Omoshiroi so janai. Uwaki no so, this is like a fleetful type of person. And this is one of my favourites prints that I've ever seen an original of. I went to an exhibition when they were doing, a few years ago, when they were doing the 5 Masters exhibition. They had like lots of prints from Kuniyoshi and Utagawa and Hokusai and Hiroshige. And who's the other one? Kuniyoshi, Hiroshige, Utagawa, Shiraku. So they had these big ones. And at the first print in that exhibition was this print here, but it was in this colourway. And the carving on her face and on her hair was just chef's kiss. It was really beautiful. This one is actually carved a little nicer than the previous one. I can zoom in. We just saw. But it's printed not as well. The feathering here, the hairs on this portion here are much softer and they don't all end in the same place. And it's got really nice detail on the eyebrows. But unfortunately there's a lot more tamari, and that might just be because of the printer being slapdash, or that could also be a sign that maybe it's not carved as well as it could be. Really good carving will not splodge as much as, but it still happens. It's carved delicately. Yeah, it's okay. This is a fine copy. It's not top. It's not the best stuff, but it's like it's quite nice. I like this color version. You prefer to the gold one? I don't think it's a nice comparison to put this one up against this one. This is a really I like this like sort of teal. It's really nice because of the way they printed it, like the imitation of fading. The little tassel thing on her hair. This one? The bobby pin. The poppet, is it? What do they call it? Something interesting about these is the way the mica's applied. So there's a few different ways of applying mica. We can print glue onto a block and then powder it, or we can. Well, I'm not going to go through all the different ways. There's a few different ways. The way this one is done is by mixing Nikawa and alum in with some mica powder, and you mix all that up, and then you get a brush and a tile. You rub it on the tile, and then you mask out. You cut a piece of card that covers this exactly, and then you brush the mica on away from the edge of it. And I can tell that because I can see the streak marks here from where the brushes run. The print that you may have seen on the back of my wall, this one down here, the sharaku, this is one that I printed in the same technique as this print I'm showing you here. But that was done with kuro mica, so along with the mica and the Nikawa mixture. I was wrong. Alum is not involved. It's just Nikawa and mica. You add a little bit of sumi just to darken it up to make black mica. So this is the flighty personality type. Actually, I think it has a bunch of different meanings. What is it? Uaki? The word in Japanese is uaki, and it has a bunch of different meanings. I think it means like sexually promiscuous, or a woman who's maybe will sleep around a little bit, you know. It has a bunch of different meanings. I think at the time it was made, it mostly means like a sort of airheaded, flighty type of person. Anyway, this one's really beautiful. And I have one more from that set, although it's not from the same edition. So these are the cases for the first two, and it's clear this is from the same edition. This one, I bought it, I couldn't find any more from that set. And so I bought this one, and it seems like it's also Takamizawa printing style. You can see here the way they're creating this gradation. I just love the colours on this one. I thought it was beautiful. This sort of muddy green going into brown. And of course she has the black teeth. If I can zoom in on that. And the hair on this one, it's okay. It's nice carving. Teal green, a bit of yellow, yeah. You're saying that the puppet thing was a glass toy. I think it is, yeah, because one of the other women in this set, she's playing with that in her mouth. You're talking about this thing in her hair here, right? Yeah, one of the other images from this series is a woman playing with one of these in her mouth. I'm guessing it's the same thing. And the reason you won't see many of these prints made like this nowadays, with the mica on like this, is because printers don't want to do it. You can see here we've got a bunch of build up here, and on any areas where you get thin lines like this and up here, the masking can be really tricky. If the mask slips a little bit, you've wasted all the work you've done to produce that print. And so printers will basically refuse this type of work because they'll put all the hours into making these things and they only get paid for finished prints. And so they'll refuse to do the last bit, which will mean it goes to the publisher or the carver that they have to do this mica themselves. And no one wants to take the responsibility and potentially lose a bunch of money. So it's quite an expensive mistake if you lose like 30% of all the finished prints. So you've maybe got wastage of like 10% anyway, and then you've got all this extra wastage on top. It's quite a risky technique. It's quite tricky to get it smooth. And then after they do that, again to artificially age it, you can see there's all these crackings here in the mica. This will be done on purpose. So what they'll do is they'll take the print and they'll bend them along the crease lines. You can see it's been bent all along these crease lines from the mat. This is where the strings in the bamboo mats where the paper is made are held. And the printer, you'll bend these and then you'll play with the paper like this to create the cracking. And you do this after the print is dried, obviously. And it'll flake off in those bits. If you get the mixture just right, you don't add too much glue, it'll flake off. You need enough glue so it lasts a long time. But if you put too much glue, it won't flake off at all. So that's how they create that thing to artificially age it. And it's just a really nice technique to use now. Even when we're not trying to artificially age these prints. If prints like this are made, it's often a consideration for the publisher. Do they want to just a pristine clear background, or do they want to have it cracking like this? Interesting how it doesn't go right up to the head. The reason for that is because they're playing it safe. It's like opaque and it will ruin lines. So ideally you want the mask to be slightly bigger, otherwise the wastages will go really, really high and you'll lose a lot of money. They'll cut it exactly, or they'll cut it just a little bit too big. This technique it looks really nice and you can get some really nice results, but you have to be so careful with it. And I think there is shomenzuri on the back of this mirror, or there should be. This one has not printed the shomenzuri very good. The original does have shomenzuri, and this one has a little bit. But they've just sort of rubbed it from the back. It's not super glossy. They haven't used any beeswax or anything. Then you can use beeswax with your shomenzuri to get an even glossier effect. You rub that on your barin just like you would the camellia oil. Anyway, I think we're okay there. These are the first 3 prints I bought, and I wanted them to study Utamaro and look at some hair carving. I missed a bunch of chat there at the end. Apologies. That last one I didn't mention, that's the omoshirowaki, the interesting type, sort of the curious girl. I think we're okay for there. We'll be back on Friday. I still don't have any carving work yet, so we'll see how things go. I don't want to be doing just the bonsai on these streams. So if we're at the end of maybe making the colour blocks for those Sinshafter prints, if I've cleared a bunch of them away, I might just do that on Friday if I don't have any other work. I will have to go and help Dave on Friday right after the stream, so it'll be a quick one. Or maybe not so quick. I have to leave on time, basically. We can't do what we did today. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm sorry if it got a little bit all over the place. I feel like I'm always sick and I'm always tired, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully I will feel better on... hopefully I'll feel better on Friday. We are going to raid. I've got someone here. Yeah, let's do that. If you guys like art, maybe you can stay tuned. Message deleted by moderator. You got nuked for capping. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I'm going to send this over. We're going to go to Jen's sketchbook. He is a very, very talented illustrator. I hope you guys can enjoy that. Say hi, be nice, be good ambassadors of this little community. Thank you guys. We'll feel better on Friday. Let's start the raid. I think he's doing portraits. Enjoy. Bye guys. See you. Peace.